What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call them mental freeze. When these people talk too much, but the shit in slow motion, yeah. I feel like an astronaut in the ocean, yeah. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call them mental freeze. When these people talk too much, but
power of the subconscious is a really amazing thing if we allow it. I learned to ride a wheelie on a 1000cc motorcycle, first try, in a dream. The footage I just cut to is the third wheelie I did that day. I rode the first one in one direction, another one back in the other, just to make sure it wasn't some kind of weird fluke that I hit the balance point the way I did. And then I called a friend and said, dude, I got this camera, we got to get footage of this. Why does this matter? Well, I've been thinking an awful lot lately about pursuing purpose and producing a life that I actually want, and I'm hoping to inspire several of you to find the life that you want and figure out how to pursue it as well. And one thing that I'm learning is if you focus on something that you want hard enough and it's important enough, you're going to get there. Stunt riding became a big part of my life for a long time. Motorcycles, bicycles, things with handlebars have always been a big part of my life, and I truly believe that, bicycles especially are such an amazing thing for so many reasons, and they should be a part of pretty much everybody's lives. But for me, when I was little, I loved riding bicycles down to the local parks. I was in a suburb of Wichita, Kansas, so we had two parks called Woodlawn and Crane Park, where kids took shovels and we built little jumps and hit them on our bikes. I raced BMX later on after getting into motocross, and that's the other detail that, you're not going to just go out, buy a motorcycle, dream about riding a wheelie and do it. Yeah, I had years of experience doing a lot of pretty adventurous things with handlebars in my hands. I was able to ride wheelies on ATVs, three-wheelers, and four-wheelers, but that's a lot different than a big 1000cc street bike on pavement too. So after I got dialed in on highway speed wheelies, I promptly started learning how to slow them down and do them really slow on a big heavy bike, because that's dramatically more challenging and technical than doing it at a super high speed. Honestly, high speed wheelies you can pretty much do in your sleep the second you figure out how to do them. So this was something, I dreamt about, I was passionate about, and I was really driven towards. I loved it. There's nothing like the feeling of doing something physically challenging, technical, and risky, but reasonably safe if done properly with the proper skills in the proper areas. When it came to stunt riding, my skills accelerated pretty quick because it was something I cared about so much. I had found my way to meet up with a bunch of legitimate professional stunt riders in Kansas City, which were, it was about 100 miles to the east of where I was at Kansas State University. A couple of these guys were really, really big time. One of them at the time was selling DVDs all over the world and became the 3-time stunt riding world champion. Another of them, I went to Sturgis one year as a cameraman. He performed amazing stunts on a big Harley chopper. It was pretty cool. I'll see if I can find some of that footage. First I figured out, this isn't a dream, this is something I can do. And then I found a motorcycle that was a little bit better for it. Honestly, my bikes were way too big and heavy and had too big of engines for what I was doing, but it was a new thing. It wasn't what it's evolved into today. So I bought a used stunt bike from another stunt rider, and it actually was the model of bike that I dreamt of since I was in second grade. My parents got me a subscription to Motorcyclist magazine, which I asked for Christmas. I'm sure I didn't read anything in it. I was, I don't know how old I am, second grade, 9 years old or something. But I looked at all the pictures, and yeah, my bike had the newer versions plastics on it. For any of you that were motorcycle people, it was an old 92 CBR 900RR Honda. So I bought this bike from another stunt rider out of Kansas City as he upgraded, and this was a much smoother, better bike than my big heavy-duty V-twin that I started on. Over the next 3 years, I spent time with these guys. I ended up traveling a handful of times, making videos with a handful of them, and because of my connections, I even ended up with 2 or 3 shots in a stunt riding DVD they used to sell in Best Buys and Walmarts all over the place. You know, to me it was a big accomplishment. If anybody else saw it, they whatever. But you can't imagine the amount of hours of my life I traded for dollars to buy these old stunt riding VHSs and DVDs, and before that it was motocross VHSs. VHS? As the years passed, I did become a lot better at this, and then college graduation came. I sold the bike. It made sense at that time. Moved off to Colorado, a place that I wanted to be more, and pursuing my career in video production, which is what I went to college for. Spent 5 years to get a 4-year degree in a field that you don't need a degree in. And after 2 years in Colorado and 2 more years out in Washington State, I realized that this is not what I want to do, trading my hours for dollars to produce things for other people with my skills. It was a ridiculous waste of my skills, passion, and energy. And I've really been on a pursuit of what's correct since then. I won't get too far off track though. I did spend 3 years stunt riding. When I got rid of that bike, I got into my career. So after college graduation, I sold my stunt bike, began a career, and made a decision that a lot of recent graduates do. Hey, I've got this degree, I've got a career now, I'm going to go and finance a fancy vehicle, or maybe buy a house that keeps you just a little more overextended than is realistic. And now, 17 years later, I don't think I've ridden a wheelie since then. You know, I do a good amount of motorcycle riding, promoting big chopper-style bikes for the world's largest custom motorcycle manufacturer, which is Big Dog Motorcycles. I'll put up a link to their videos, and, well, my videos, their channel's videos that I produce. But because of that decision, ultimately, I ended up not back into stunt riding. You know, life starts taking over. You don't know what your priorities are. And now I don't want to say that stunt riding itself is one of my highest priorities, although I do believe at age 40, I still have a good chance of getting back into it now that I'm actually getting my life moving in a direction that I truly want for myself, deeply from my heart, and not just being pushed down a path of trading hours for dollars to basically neuter myself and throw all my skills and energy and knowledge and capabilities that I've developed out the window to make somebody else money. You know, maybe if I had kids, there would be a lot of purpose behind that hours for dollars 9 to 5. But for me, there's way more freedom knowing that I'm going to be able to continue to support myself regardless of what any business out there wants or needs, or what the economy is, as I develop this path with YouTube and everything I'm going to do with it. So, back to stunt riding. Over the years, I got pretty good. I really loved it, and it's never left my heart. But it went from, you know, the amazing, cool thing of stunt riding to just enjoying being in motion. And knowing that even though I lived in Summit County, Colorado for 7 years, where there's multiple ski slopes, and I've got myself hundreds and hundreds of days snowboarding over that time, and I was good at it, but you put a pair of handlebars in my hands and I'm way better because I've been developing those skills and aptitudes since I was little. And I can promise you that if I do, or when I do get back on a bike that's good for stunning, yeah, it's not going to be smooth the first 30 minutes, maybe the first few days, but it will come back to me. And my vision's a lot different now too. Instead of trying to be the most badass guy out there that can outride other people and wants attention for it, I really enjoy doing this stuff for fun. It's technical. It focuses your balance. Your mind can't be anywhere at all. Your mind's not even present because your reactions that you've developed through practice are what is controlling what happens to you. So as I pursue this mission, I found not only is it stunt riding, motorcycles, snowboarding, longboarding, things with motion, but just a general sense of adventure. I thought that video production as an employee would have been a great way to have adventure because things change so much. So as I continue to clarify and pursue my purpose, producing content about adventure travel, about overlanding, and about doing kind things, traveling to help communities and people in need, and to pursue a life of health and wellness throughout the mission. I think that this adventurous, thrill-seeking, adrenaline rush thing that I've always had in me is helping to lead me on a path where I have a lot less chance of getting severely hurt. I don't have the same drive to go out and just do crazy things as I used to. But it is amazing how quickly that instinct comes back when you put a pair of handlebars in my hands. I'm probably going to push my limits a little bit, but try not to cross the line too hard. So I'm mostly telling this story just because I do mention stunt riding a lot, and I know over time I'm going to develop an audience that may be interested in some of the things that led from who I was and who I've developed into and who I'm becoming, because I think a lot of this could relate to you, what you want to do, and I'm not saying you should do the same things as me, but I hope to provide a little bit of inspiration, because I've found for myself in this life that following the path my college education put me on, following the amazing example that my family provided, they gave us an amazing life. And if I had a family, maybe I would be doing a dependable 9-to-5 and figuring out how to support them. But I don't. I'm free. I've got a couple $1,000 worth of debt, a brand new engine in my vehicle, a lot of skills and ability behind the camera, a mission, a vision, and I know that I can have a lot more impact on the world. I can have a lot more to look back on, and I can develop more wealth for myself throughout the years as long as I stay focused on this mission. And yeah, this is somewhat of the risk and the adrenaline rush. I'm actually going this afternoon to do a job interview for a part-time job waiting tables at Olive Garden. Now, to some people, you might look, bro, you're 40, you've got an education, what in the world are you doing? Well, guess what? My focus is not vocation, it's location. It's not things I own, it's things I experience. And at this moment, taking a part-time evening job that allows me to continue training hard in the mornings, continue developing this channel, and continue freelancing with friends' businesses that I do get paid a lot more for, it makes a whole lot of sense. And I don't have any ego, I don't have any pride in that. Like, oh, somebody from middle school sees me there and looks, oh, look what Mike's doing. I don't really care what you think, because you don't know the mission I'm on, and I already know in my heart I'm doing something absolutely amazing that I'm going to be proud of until the days that I die. And I don't know how many people really can truly feel that about even jobs where they help people, even jobs where they make good money and they feel productive. And maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not convinced, I'm not trying to convince you that what you're doing is wrong, but I can tell you, for me, trading hours for dollars is not a sustainable long-term path. It's a way for me to make myself miserable for long past retirement age, to not be able to retire comfortably, and at the same time, not have anything to truly make myself happy. So, it started out as me liking to do little jumps on my bicycle and having motorcyclist magazines, and eventually racing motocross and racing BMX after I got into motocross and broke both my legs. And BMX was even worse. I blew out my knee, shattered my wrist, busted out my teeth so many times. I had a concussion. I was seeing double for 4 to 5 months. And I'm tired of being injured. I mean, I had 12 different bone breaks during the 7 years I lived out in the mountains snowboarding. But at the same time, I'm inherently a risk taker. And something else, the feeling, the amazing, amazing feeling of accomplishment. The moment that I rode that wheelie, the moment that I landed 55 and 65-foot jumps on my snowboard was a great feeling. But then I pushed it a little too far, and I didn't walk for 6 months. So, it's finding that balance now. I want to push things real hard. I don't want to destroy my life trying to pursue these things, so I have to find ways to be humble and make it happen and keep working. One of my favorite channels to watch is Matt Armstrong. This guy was a pro BMXer, and he built his YouTube channel fixing up cars, and now building and fixing amazing cars, Lamborghinis, Maseratis, etc. And he did it all while he was bartending and waiting tables until he was able to make that shift. One great thing for me is I've developed a life where at any moment I can just hit the road and go and do this in other places. And I also have other skill sets to generate leads for my video production that I can prelay those plans before I get to a location. Now, one of my next locations is probably going to have palm trees. You can see them on my backdrop. You see them on my shirt. I've lived in the mountains. I've lived near the ocean, 3-4 miles inland, or 3 or 4 hours inland from Seattle and Portland. But I've never been around palm trees. So that's one of my next missions. And no matter what it takes, I'm going to keep figuring out the ways to sustain and support myself while pursuing my mission of creating content and developing a self-sustaining business through YouTube and everything I'll plug into it. As I'm at this exciting and a little bit scary point in life here, redirecting to really pursue why I'm on this planet, I look back and realize I've become the person I dreamt of as a child in so many ways. And the thing that pulls me farthest away from that is the mindset that society pushes on us that our job is our identity, our job is what matters most, our time needs to be traded hours for dollars so we can pursue this path that's one size fits all, and then judge ourselves by, well, did we get as many hours, as many dollars for our hours as the next guy? Is our house as big? Is our car as nice? None of that brings fulfillment into my soul. As I look at the adventures I've had in the past and the ones I'm moving towards in the future, what I've done is find that child back in myself who is unwilling to give up his dreams to pursue a path that has me throw away most of my life, either sleeping or working. And most people I see are out of shape. I'm in the gym 5-6 days a week, never less than 2 hours a day. The big picture for me, and I hope it is for you, is that at almost no stage in life is it too late to assess why you're truly here. What you're doing now, is it something that your younger self would be excited about, would be proud of? Would it, if you were to meet yourself when you were 10 years old, meet yourself now when you were 10 years old, would you be excited about it? Would you be impressed? Would it give you some type of positive emotion? I'm not willing to spend the rest of my life in the rat race. It might, who knows how long it's going to take, but there's going to be a point when I will surpass what I would have gotten to if I would have just stayed on my initial corporate path of video production, bought a house, paid into the mortgage for the last 10 years, and it's going to happen in a prompt manner once I get to that point. Guys, think about your inner child. Think about what you really want. Think about what your life's going to look like when you're looking back on it, when you are old, when you can no longer play hard, when you aren't able to generate an income in the same way. Are you really going to be proud of it? Is it a story that you would want to tell? Is it a video, could it be a video that you would look back on in 20 or 30 years? As I watch several of my friends who have been really successful, working for themselves, and several that have done really well working for corporations as well. I think a majority of them look at my situation, I don't want to say with envy, but with awe. And I look at their resources and their assets and their wealth. And also, there's some awe for me in that. But is it something I would trade for? I don't have any reason to. I don't have a mortgage. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I've got a degree. I've got skills. It would be stupid for me to throw all of the skills that I've earned over the last nearly 20 years just so I can go have my hands cuffed, become a cog in a wheel, making somebody some money, not feeling truly passionate about my life every day. And I am truly passionate about my life and the things I'm going to do with it and the things I've done with it. So from bicycles to stunt riding to the mission I'm on now of traveling and doing some crazy stuff, I'm staying true to myself, and I really hope that you do too.
Ain't got no cameraman this time, so we'll hold the wheelies for later. See what I can do. I just learned this 2 days ago.